All right, I'm interviewing Hillary Bowie about her experience on 9/11. Hillary, I know you lived on a military base, and I was hoping you could speak a little bit about what it was like for you guys on the military base when 9/11 happened.
Well, it was different. I can't say we were in Fort Leavenworth, which is smack dab in the middle of the country. So there wasn't quite the sense of fear that I would imagine is out here of a potential strike. However, we have the equivalent of a graduate school for many people that are responsible for siege logistics. So there's quite a bit of intel there. So people were worried about cyber hacking a lot. So pretty much, I think I was at school on post. But 8:30 in the morning, so school had just barely started. And our teacher, kept leaving the room, and we couldn't figure out why she was leaving the room and letting us all just mill around and do whatever. But apparently, the TV down the hall happened to be broadcasting all the events, and they didn't know how to break it to all the students. And then they finally ushered us all into one of the larger classrooms, the science classroom, and we began to watch what was going on. And about 10 minutes in, they killed all the power because they killed the grid on the base in case anyone tried to hack into anything. The Army, in case they tried to hack into anything. And we pretty much just sat around. There was definitely no learning to be done all day. A majority of parents came in uniform and picked up their kids and brought them home, and we weren't really allowed to go outside. My dad was actually a team leader at the time, so he was more responsible for the shutting down processes themselves, so he didn't come get me until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was the second to last student to leave my class and probably in the last 10 to leave school. So it was interesting to kind of watch people empty out into a ghost town, and our teachers were really good about letting us use their cell phones. A lot of my classmates had parents that were, working in the Pentagon, working near the Pentagon, and they had a lot of reason to be really concerned. But no one in my life was significantly impacted in a particular tragic way, which we were extremely fortunate for. We couldn't leave the post for about 3 days after the fact. Yes, you could come in, but it took about 2.5 hours to get searched, and it was quite the process. So the grocery store quickly ran out of stuff. The gas station ran out of stuff, ran out of gas like the last day, and it was very cool. Everybody really came together. It was very patriotic. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the post still plays taps, which is when troops had to report back to barracks. And that's kind of this archaic thing that most posts don't play anymore, but ours does. And no matter where you are, regardless if it's a holiday or just a regular Monday, you stop and put your hand on your heart and you wait until it's over. And on Sunday, it's extra long because of the cannons. But on September 11th, it was unique because when they played taps, literally everyone had been outside all day. They all came outside and everyone put their hands on their hearts together, their whole families and their dogs. And it was a really unifying moment.
And how did you feel when you were watching the stuff on the TV? Do you remember what the first image was you saw, and what feelings did you have when you saw it?
My first image I saw, actually, when we got ushered into the classroom, was the second plane crashing into the tower live. And our professors, some of them was confused. They were like, wait, isn't the first one smoking? That's what the first girl said. And our teachers were like, no, that's a replay. And until someone said, the second tower has been hit, everyone kind of had this just silent moment of horror where we actually realized that both towers had been struck. And then the teachers slowly started being like, whose parents are here? As in, like, whose parents are not deployed? Like, if both of your parents are here, like, raise your hand. Like, if both of your brothers, all your brothers and sisters are here, raise your hand. And then it was like, whose parents are deployed? Where are your parents deployed to? What would be their involvement with the Pentagon? And for the children that they considered more at risk, they shuttled them down to the office where they could use the emergency lines to try to contact their family. So, but it was scary. I didn't know anyone at the Pentagon. My dad had actually just left 6 months beforehand, so I just remember sitting there and being extremely thankful for that.
And when you went home that night, what did your parents say to you? And when your family picked you up, what was the first thing they said when you got in the car?
First thing they said is that everything's okay, and that we are going to be okay, and that we were extremely safe. And that was very reassuring. And that one thing that I'll always remember my mom said that I really admired is, everyone, and I feel like in the days following, everyone is, this is what happened to me, or, my experience, I was here, I was doing this. And, we're all telling our parents in the minivan, I was here, I was doing this. And they were like, it's really not important what's happening to you right now, because you are safe, aren't you? And they were like, you need to take this time to keep in your hearts other people. We're not particularly religious, so I guess it'd be the equivalent of praying, but, You know, we all sort of sat around at dinner and we were like, you need to keep in your thoughts and your hearts other people that are more affected than you.
And now, 10 years later, how do you feel about what our country has done and how we handled the events afterwards?
I feel like we've handled it very well. Actually, I'm not, you know, politically motivated on one side or the other, but I feel like given the circumstances and given how we truly were rocked to our core, I think we really have come back and done a lot of things right. There's definitely a lot of things we haven't, and maybe that our motives aren't exactly correct, but we've definitely wiped out, you know, all the major infrastructure and leadership of Al-Qaeda, which was our biggest issue. We've done an extraordinary job of helping control all of it and helping to rebuild prison systems and reform systems and other stuff like that. I'm not being very articulate.
Neither am I. It's totally fine.
But, well, I think that there are some things, and a lot of people have feelings about why we are still there. I feel like in a lot of ways, the original charge put out by President Bush to go and destroy the people that were trying to destroy us, I think that that's absolutely happened. So, I'm proud to be an American.
And do you have any other memories or thoughts you'd like to share about 9/11 or your experience?
I remember, and I thought about this just last spring when they found out that Osama bin Laden had been killed. I remember all the gas stations, not on post, but I thought it was kind of funny. They sold T-shirts of the portrait of Osama bin Laden and a rifle target, a deer rifle target on it. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a big debate about if we could wear them to school or not, because some people argued they were patriotic and some people argued they were far too violent. And although I never had one, I wonder to this day, you know, how many people still have those and did they wear them around with pride?
Thank you. Well, this was Hil B, and it was great interviewing you. And, yep, this is her take on 9/11. Thanks, iPhone.